Ready for some really mind-bending ideas today?
I think so. I'm ready.
So today we're diving deep into, well, two sources, actually,
Okay.
that really focus on spirituality and consciousness.
All right.
And those are Knowledge of Higher Worlds and its Attainment, which is written by Rudolf Steiner,
Interesting.
and then also some selections from The Law of One.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to be talking about some pretty high-level stuff, higher realms,
Okay.
personal transformation,
Yeah.
and we might even touch on extraterrestrials a little bit.
That's always fun.
It's going to be an interesting one.
It's wild how these two sources, even though they come from like totally different backgrounds,
Right.
end up having like surprisingly similar perspectives.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So you have Steiner, who is a philosopher and an esotericist, and he gives us this like very structured path for developing clairvoyant abilities.
Right.
And then on the other hand, you have the Law of One, which is, if you're not familiar with it, it's this channeled text that says it's, communication from an extraterrestrial being.
Oh, wow.
And the being's name is Ra.
That's fascinating. So we've got the structured path from Steiner.
Right.
And like cosmic wisdom from Ra.
Yeah. And what's really cool is they both really emphasize the importance of personal growth.
Right.
And this idea of, pursuing spiritual understanding.
Yeah.
So they each give us their own framework for understanding consciousness and like the interconnectedness of all beings.
So they're almost like pieces of the same puzzle.
Yeah,
but from totally different perspectives.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're coming at it from completely different angles.
I'm totally intrigued. Okay, so let's start with Steiner.
Okay.
He lays out these like 4 key attributes that he says are essential for developing clairvoyance and, accessing higher knowledge.
It's like he created a training manual for expanding your perception.
Exactly, he did.
It's really cool.
It's really cool. So these attributes aren't just like nice ideas.
No.
They're like tools to inner development.
Yeah.
And Steiner actually says it's not enough to just intellectually understand them.
Right.
You actually have to like cultivate them. You have to practice them.
You got to embody them,
Yeah. Okay, so the first one
is
discernment.
Yes.
That's the ability to like distinguish between truth and appearance.
It's almost like developing an artist's eye.
Okay.
You learn to see the essential form beyond just the surface details.
So it's like seeing through the illusions of the everyday world.
Exactly. You got it.
Okay.
And what's really cool is that Steiner describes how practicing discernment actually transforms your etheric body.
What's the etheric body?
So think of the etheric body like a blueprint. It's like the subtle energy field that surrounds your physical body.
Okay.
And it influences like your health, your emotions, and even how you perceive the world.
Oh, wow.
So through practicing discernment, your etheric body gets stronger.
Okay.
It's like building a mental muscle.
So the more you use discernment, the stronger that etheric body becomes.
Exactly.
And that allows you to see things that other people might miss.
Yeah, that's the idea. And Steiner gets really specific about it.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. He says that there's a center in the head that's like an energy center that's formed by practicing discernment.
Okay.
And then another center, like in the larynx region, gets prepped for future development through these exercises.
Okay, so discernment really strengthens the etheric body.
Totally.
Okay, so what's the second attribute?
So the second one, Steiner calls it control of actions.
Control of actions. Okay.
Yeah, and it's basically about walking your talk, aligning your everyday choices with your deeper understanding.
Okay.
Like if you're working on spiritual growth, but your actions are totally out of whack, you're not going to get very far.
Makes sense. So your actions need to be in harmony with your intention.
Exactly.
My third attribute.
All right, number 3 is perseverance.
Perseverance.
Yeah, this one's all about sticking with the path.
Okay.
Even when things get tough.
Right.
Think of it like training for a marathon. You need consistent effort.
Right.
You got to be willing to overcome obstacles. You can't just give up when it gets hard.
So both Steiner and the Law of One really emphasize this idea of like provocation and discipline.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
For spiritual growth.
It's not a quick fix.
Right.
It's a lifelong journey.
Right.
This is the long game.
Okay, and the final attribute.
The fourth one is equanimity.
Equanimity. And what does that mean?
It's about cultivating this like inner peace and balance,
Yeah.
even when, life's throwing all kinds of chaos your way.
That sounds like a real challenge, especially in today's world with all the distractions and the information overload and,
It's tough, right? It's like, how do we even begin to cultivate that kind of inner stillness?
Yeah. So how do we do it? What do these sources say?
Well, they both suggest practices like meditation and mindfulness as tools for cultivating equanimity.
Right.
And Steiner also points out that, like, as you develop those first three attributes.
Right. Discernment, control of actions, and perseverance.
Yeah, exactly. As you work on those,
Okay.
it naturally leads to greater equanimity. It's like you're building a strong foundation for inner peace.
So it's not just about finding that stillness in meditation.
Right.
But it's also about, like,
Yeah.
aligning your actions with your values.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about making choices in our daily lives that support that inner peace.
Yeah, Steiner really doesn't shy away from the tough stuff.
No, he doesn't.
He talks about encountering this thing called the guardian of the threshold.
Oh, yeah.
What is that?
So this being, it represents like all of your past deeds
and
desires.
Okay.
It's like facing this cosmic mirror that's reflecting your deepest self back to you.
So it's not just about developing these attributes.
No.
It's also about confronting, like, our inner demons.
Yeah, like
our past mistakes and everything we've tried to bury.
It's all coming up.
Yeah.
Steiner says this encounter is like the final test before you enter the spiritual world.
Wow.
Like, you have to transform the guardian in order to experience what he calls a conscious death.
Conscious death.
Yeah. It's about shedding your old self and entering a new stage of spiritual development.
So this is really intense. I can see why he calls it knowledge of higher worlds and its attainment.
It's not messing around.
It's not messing around. This is a serious endeavor.
Yeah, but he suggests that if you successfully navigate this encounter, it changes how you experience physical death.
Really?
Yeah. Like, imagine shedding the physical body like an old garment.
Wow.
You're consciously transitioning instead of fearing the unknown.
So death becomes a continuation of consciousness, not an ending.
Exactly. It's like you're just moving on to the next chapter.
That is a very different perspective on life and death than what we're usually taught.
Right. It's mind-blowing.
It is. Okay, so are you ready to shift gears and dive into the Law of One?
Oh, yeah. Let's get cosmic.
All right, so the Law of One claims to be communication from, well, this being called Ra.
Yes.
Who's a sixth-density social memory complex.
That's a mouthful.
Okay, so what exactly is a sixth-density social memory complex?
Think of it like a collective consciousness.
Okay.
Like a fusion of tons of individual souls that have evolved beyond our current level of understanding.
Wow.
You know, it's like, imagine a being with access to just vast amounts of knowledge and wisdom that's been accumulated over, you know, eons.
Okay, so this Ra entity is not like us.
It's on a whole other level.
It's a highly evolved collective consciousness.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is this Law of One they keep talking about?
Rod describes the Law of One as like this fundamental principle of unity.
Okay.
You know, it's like the idea that all is one, all is love.
It sounds pretty straightforward.
It is, but it's so profound.
Yeah.
Because it, like, challenges our whole perception of separation and duality.
So instead of seeing ourselves as, like, these isolated individuals, it's saying we're all connected. We're all part of, like, this larger cosmic whole.
Exactly.
Okay, so the Law of One is pointing to this, like, underlying unity of all things.
Yeah.
And that's what Ra is trying to convey.
That's the message.
Okay, so Rod says, we've forgotten this, like, fundamental truth because of the veil of forgetting.
Right. It's like this cosmic amnesia that
wow.
separates our conscious mind from our unconscious mind.
Okay.
It allows us to experience free will and polarity in this third dimension.
So it's like we're playing a game of cosmic hide and seek.
I like that.
We're trying to remember who we truly are.
Exactly. And Ra suggests that, like, before the veil, we were aware of our unity with the Creator.
Okay, so we knew it all.
Yeah, but we didn't have the catalyst for growth.
We didn't have the challenges.
Yeah, like the challenges, the choices that allow us to evolve.
Yeah, so the veil of forgetting allows us to experience individuality, make choices, and actually learn and grow through those choices.
Exactly. It's like we needed that separation to really appreciate the unity.
But it also makes us forget our connection to the source, to each other.
Everything,
and to the Law of One.
Yeah, it's like this beautiful paradox.
That's a great way to put it. It really is.
We're both individuals, but also part of something much bigger.
Yeah, and it's almost like our journey is about remembering that unity while still honoring those individual experiences.
It's a balancing act.
That reminds me of what Steiner was saying about the need to balance individual development with this recognition that we're interconnected.
That's a great connection.
Yeah.
They're both pointing to this delicate balance.
Yeah.
It's not about losing yourself in the collective. It's about understanding your individual role in this grand cosmic play.
Okay, so we have this veil of forgetting that lets us experience free will
and
polarity.
Yeah.
What happens when the veil is lifted? Like, what's on the other side?
Well, according to Ra, reality is made up of 7 densities.
7 densities?
Yeah, or you could think of them as dimensions of consciousness.
Okay.
So Earth is currently in the 3rd density.
Okay, we're on density 3.
Yeah, but we're transitioning to the 4th. It's like this process of spiritual evolution, and it ends in what they call a harvest.
A harvest?
Yeah, it's a harvest of souls that are ready to move on to the next level.
It's almost like reality is like a radio.
Yeah.
With 7 different channels.
I like that.
We're on channel 3, but there are higher frequencies out there.
There are, and they're just waiting to be discovered.
Just waiting to be tuned into.
Exactly. And Ra says during this transition, we have the choice to choose our path.
Okay.
Do we want to serve ourselves, or do we want to serve others?
So it's not just about individual growth?
No.
It's about, like, the collective evolution of consciousness.
Yeah, like the whole planet.
Our Earth.
Yeah. We're all in this together.
We are.
And our choices affect way more than just ourselves.
Right.
It's like a ripple effect.
That raises a question.
Okay.
Are there forces out there trying to, like, influence our choices?
Oh, yeah. Things are about to get a little spooky.
Steer us away from this positive evolution.
Yeah. Both Steiner and the Laws One talk about negative forces in the universe that can mess with our spiritual progress.
Okay, so this is where it gets real. So, remember Steiner's terrifying Guardian of the Threshold?
Oh, yeah. How could we forget?
Well, Ra talks about the Orion Group.
Okay.
Who are they?
So the Orion Group are these entities that is focused on service to self.
Okay.
They want to control and manipulate others.
Like this cosmic tug of war.
I know, right?
Between light and darkness.
Yeah.
And we're stuck in the middle.
We're right in the middle of it all.
Tell me more about these Orion entities, though.
Oh, they're fascinating. Ra describes them as super intelligent.
Okay, but not
exactly compassionate. No.
Okay.
They're all about power and control.
Mm-hmm.
They try to manipulate others through all sorts of means.
What kind of means?
Oh, they can use psychic attacks.
Oh, wow.
They can play on our fears, our desires.
So it's not all sunshine and rainbows on the spiritual path.
It can get pretty intense.
There are real challenges.
Yeah.
And forces that would prefer to keep us, like, stuck in a state of fear.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They thrive on that fear.
And separation.
Yeah, exactly. It weakens us.
However, both sources say that ultimately...
we have the power to choose. We do. It's not all doom and gloom. We're not just pawns in this cosmic game.
Right.
We have free will, and we can choose love or fear.
So it's like we're at a crossroads.
It really is a constant crossroads.
Okay. So we can succumb to that fear and manipulation.
Yeah.
Or we can choose love and unity.
It's a tough choice sometimes.
Yeah. How do we make those choices?
Yeah, that's the big question.
When these negative forces are so, like, subtle and pervasive.
It's hard to see them sometimes. They're sneaky.
Yeah.
But we'll explore that more. Maybe we should
I think
take a little break.
Take a break.
Let all this information sink in.
Yeah, because this is a lot.
It is.
It is a lot to take in, but it's really opening up some new perspective.
It always does, right?
It does.
Challenges us.
It does. I'm excited to see where this deep dive takes us next. Okay, so we've journeyed through Steiner's structured path.
Yeah.
And we've kind of delved into this cosmic perspective of the Law of One.
It's a lot, right?
It is a lot to take in. Guardians, negative entities, and the power of choice, oh my. But, like, how do we actually integrate these, like, mind-blowing ideas into, like, daily life?
That's the question, isn't it? The million-dollar question.
Right.
So let's maybe explore some practical applications. We could start with those 4 key attributes that Steiner talks about.
Right.
Remember? Discernment, control of actions, perseverance, and equanimity.
Yeah, like they're tools, right?
They are tools.
For personal transformation, they help us kind of refine our perception, align our actions, and find that, like, inner stability. But how do you actually put them into practice? Like,
right.
It all sounds a little bit abstract.
It can seem that way.
Yeah.
But think of it like training for a spiritual marathon.
Okay.
Steiner gives us these specific exercises like practicing mindfulness in, everyday activities.
Okay, so, like, what would that look like?
Well, like paying really close attention to your thoughts, your motivations throughout the day, or finding moments of stillness, even if it's just for like a couple breaths in the middle of, all the busyness of life.
So it's about bringing that awareness to like every part of our lives, not just
when you're sitting on the cushion.
Not just when you're meditating.
Yeah, exactly. It's about making it a part of who you are.
Yeah.
Weaving it into the fabric of your being.
It's like embodying it.
Embodying it. That's it. And, Steiner wasn't alone in emphasizing personal growth.
Right.
The Law of One talks about it too, but from that, cosmic perspective.
Yeah, with that cosmic lens.
And it highlights, aligning with love and unity.
Right, all is one, all is love. That was Ra's big message, right?
It's the core of it, yeah.
It's simple, but like...
And it's so powerful, right?
Yeah, it's so profound.
So how do we actually move from, like, intellectually understanding it to, like, actually living it?
That's the challenge, isn't it?
That's where the rubber meets the road. Well, Ross suggests that by, consciously choosing love in every thought, word, and deed, we basically accelerate our evolution.
Oh, right.
We contribute to the harmony of the universe.
It's like we're tuning ourselves to a higher frequency.
Yeah, like aligning our vibration with, like, this symphony of love and light that, permeates all of existence.
That's beautiful. So both sources are kind of calling us to, like, become active participants in our own development.
It's not passive. It's an active process.
It is. To seek knowledge, refine our choices, and ultimately, like, align with that unifying principle of love.
Exactly.
That's inspiring, but it's also kind of daunting.
It can feel overwhelming.
Right, because life throws curveballs.
Yeah, it happens.
We get caught up in drama.
We get distracted.
Yeah, and sometimes we just, like, forget our higher purpose.
We lose sight of the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And both sources acknowledge that. Remember, Steiner's Guardian of the Threshold represents all the stuff we've done.
Right, our past. It's like a cosmic mirror, but it could be scary.
And it's powerful, It shows us the obstacles we face on this path.
Yeah, and let's not forget about Ra's Orion group.
Oh, yeah, those guys.
Those negative entities who are trying to manipulate and control everyone.
They're out there.
Yeah, it's almost like a cosmic obstacle course.
It is, testing our strength and resilience.
Exactly. So how do we actually navigate these challenges, though, and emerge stronger?
Well, both Steiner and Ra give us some guidance.
Okay, what do they say?
So Steiner says we got to develop those 4 key attributes.
Right.
Discernment, control of actions, perseverance, and equanimity.
Yeah, they're like our armor.
They're like our spiritual armor, yeah. Protecting us from negative influences.
And Ra says that, like, love is the ultimate weapon.
It is.
The strongest shield against the darkness.
Yeah.
So cultivating compassion, forgiveness, and understanding.
Even for those who seem to be against us.
Even for our enemies.
That's the key.
It's tough, but it's important.
It is tough, but it's like building a fortress of light within ourselves.
It's like radiating this energy that just, like, transforms the negativity.
And illuminates the path.
Exactly. And it's not just us, right?
No, we're not alone in this.
We have help.
Yeah, we have guidance and support from higher realms, from our higher selves, spiritual guides and all sorts of benevolent beings who are, like, rooting for our evolution.
So we have a cosmic support team.
We do, cheering us on.
That's comforting.
But we got to be open to it,
Yeah, we got to be willing to ask for help.
Yeah, ask for help, be receptive to the guidance.
But how do we actually do that? It's not like I can just call up my guardian angel.
No, you can't just dial them up.
No, but it's got to be more than just wishing, right?
It's about cultivating that sense of receptivity, like tuning into that higher frequency. Practices like meditation can help prayer. And even just spending time in nature can open up those channels.
So we're not working on ourselves in isolation.
No, we're not alone.
We're tapping into this network of support that's way bigger.
Yeah, it extends beyond the physical.
Than anything we can see.
Exactly. This is starting to paint a very different picture of reality, isn't it?
It really is. It's challenging, like, our conventional worldview.
It definitely shakes things up.
Yeah. Both Steiner and the Law of One offer us this, like, way more expansive perspective. It's inviting us to see ourselves as, like, powerful beings.
We are.
With the potential to transform not just ourselves, but the world around us.
It's a big responsibility.
It is. We're not just victims of circumstance.
We have agency.
We're active participants in creating our reality.
We're co-creators.
Yeah, that's both empowering and terrifying.
It's both, right?
It is. Because if our choices have such, like, far-reaching consequences, like...
Yeah.
What does that mean for how we understand time?
That's the question.
And the nature of existence.
We're about to go down a rabbit hole.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go down the rabbit hole.
Buckle up.
So we've kind of established that our choices really matter.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe even more than we realize.
More than we can even imagine.
But if we're, like, shaping reality with every decision, what does that mean for how we understand time?
That's a big question.
Like, is it really as straightforward as past, present, future?
Well, Steiner talked about this.
Okay.
Specifically, he talked about the experience of people who have, died.
Okay.
And he said they perceive time differently.
Oh, really? How so?
It's not linear for them anymore.
What do you mean?
It's like, imagine a tapestry.
Okay.
Where past, present, and future are all woven together.
So it's not a progression like we see it?
Not at all. It's like all those events just exist simultaneously, and consciousness can move through them.
Okay.
Not bound by, our normal understanding of time.
So are we talking time travel here?
It's not like hopping in a DeLorean.
Right.
It's more about how consciousness interacts with time
Yeah.
outside of, our linear perception.
Okay. So the law of one actually adds another layer to this, right?
They do. They talk about densities.
Right, those different levels of consciousness.
Exactly. Think of it like levels in a video game.
Okay.
You unlock new areas and abilities as you progress.
Right.
And just like in a video game, these densities aren't spatially separate.
So they're all happening at the same time.
Yeah, they coexist vibrationally,
Okay.
like different radio frequencies.
Right.
And as we, evolve spiritually,
Yeah.
we shift our own frequency.
Okay.
And that lets us perceive and interact with different densities.
So spiritual evolution is like tuning into a higher channel of reality.
You got it. And on those higher channels,
Okay.
we might experience time totally differently.
Wow. So does that mean like precognition
Yeah.
or past life memories?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are those like glimpses into those other densities?
They could be, where time isn't as linear.
It's like we're getting a sneak peek
Yeah, a little preview.
behind the curtain of reality?
And both sources seem to suggest that as we make better choices, as we align with love,
Okay.
we get a better grasp of time,
Okay.
even a degree of mastery over it.
This is blowing my mind a little bit. If our choices really shape reality to this extent,
It's a big concept.
are we each creating our own personal universes
Whoa.
with every decision?
That's a question that's been debated for centuries.
It is a big question.
But the law of one suggests there are infinite universes.
Infinite universes.
Yeah, each reflecting like a unique set of choices and experiences.
It's like a choose-your-own adventure.
It is, on a cosmic scale,
Every decision creates a new path,
a branching path.
leading to endless possibility.
Exactly. And maybe as we evolve, we become more aware of these choices
Right.
and their impact.
Yeah.
And that lets us navigate this, multi-dimensional reality
Okay.
with more awareness
Yeah.
and intention.
Okay, so where does that leave us, though?
Right. Here we are.
Here we are, the third density.
Still figuring things out.
Still grappling with life.
Yeah. It's messy.
Yeah, it is. So what does it all mean for how we should live?
I think it reminds us that our choices matter.
Okay.
Maybe more than we can even comprehend.
Yeah.
We're not just watching.
No.
We're participating.
We're in the game.
We're in the game. Every decision we make, it's a step towards the reality we're creating.
It's kind of humbling
It is.
and empowering at the same time.
It is both. It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, it is. So both Steiner and the Law of One
Yeah.
encourage us to choose love over fear,
To choose unity over separation.
to be the light.
Yeah, to contribute to a more harmonious reality.
Yeah. It's like a call to action.
It is. It's time to step into our power,
Yeah.
embrace the mystery,
Right.
and recognize that we're all connected.
We're co-creating this whole thing.
We are. We're weaving the tapestry to it.
This deep dive has been
intense. Yeah.
but it's really opened up like some exciting new avenues,
New ways of looking at this.
new ways of looking at things. It's a lot to process,
It is.
but I feel like I've gained like a new lens to view reality.
That's what it's all about, right?
That's what it's all about. So to everyone listening,
Yeah.
I encourage you to delve deeper into these teachings.
Explore these ideas.
See where they lead you.
It's an incredible journey.
It is. It's a journey worth taking.
And until next time,
Mhm.
may your path be filled with wonder, discovery, and that, transformative power of love.
Safe travels on the path to enlightenment.